Hello and welcome to the iTnews podcast. I'm your host, Kate Webber. In this week's episode, we'll be speaking with NAB's Acting Chief Information Officer for Personal Banking and Executive Technology Home Ownership, Paul Norman, speaking all about the bank's new Simple Home Loans mortgage platform and how it managed to transform its time to yes approvals to under 60 minutes. I guess my first question, I know you've just stepped into the acting CIO role for personal banking following the departure of Anna Camaroto about a month ago. I was wondering what you've been up to since then, especially taking on this role and how you balance this with your other role as executive for technology home ownership.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Kate. So I was really fortunate to inherit an amazing team from Anna with a clear vision. So the transition to the new role has been pretty seamless. And my primary goal has been making sure that as we change leadership, we don't distract the team that we have in place from their strategic focus. In terms of balancing the two roles, what's great at NAB is as we give different people career opportunities, me stepping into this role has allowed a number of my people to step up into broader roles as well. So I've been able to, with confidence, let my existing team continue to operate as they were independently and really be able to focus on this new role.
Yeah, it's quite a massive dual role that you've got on. And I know part of your more traditional role, you did oversee NAB's new Simple Home Loan mortgage platform. I was wondering if you could give listeners just a quick rundown on what this platform is and does and why this is such a win for consumers.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with some broader context. So buying a home can be one of the biggest events in one of our customers' financial lives. It can be a pretty stressful experience, whether you're buying your first home or you're an experienced home buyer. And historically, the banks can be quite complex to deal with. It can sometimes take historically many weeks to get an approval or an unconditional decision from the banks. And practically this means for customers that they can struggle to buy with confidence, especially when we have competitive property markets. As a result, both we at NAB and a number of our competitors have been working hard on solutions to try and make this particular moment of truth more frictionless. What we realised in NAB about 4 years ago was we needed to make a change. We had platforms that were aging. Our processes were typified by manual handling, paper forms, rework. And we needed not just to change the technology, but our philosophy around the end-to-end customer experience. So we've set ourselves an ambition. It was a bold ambition. That's what we wanted to deliver some time to yes or unconditional approvals to our customers in less than 60 minutes.
Okay, wow, that's quite amazing. I was just wondering, overall, how did the bank achieve this?
So we realised quite quickly that technology alone wasn't going to get us there. We had to solve this by bringing people, process and technology together. We needed to build a digital engine that converged in many ways that our customers and bankers and brokers are traditionally applied for a home loan into a single reusable process. That process needed to have full automation, straight through processing, right through the home buying value chain. And we recognised that we needed to transform and simplify a lot of our processes such that we weren't coding complexity. An important tenet of what we did was making sure there was colleague intervention where it mattered and by exception. And we needed to make sure we had the right engineering platforms in place such that we were able to use our cloud-enabled microservices architecture as well as our internal capability to take this on. So that's really how we went about achieving this.
And I know you mentioned it sounded like it was a whole of bank effort bring this to life, not just across the tech teams. Is that something that you've had to work towards, kind of break down silos between departments to really bring this to life and almost switch the thinking? It was kind of like a collaboration between not just all the different tech people, but also people that understood how the mortgage process worked and the best way to help a customer travel through that journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. That really was at the core of our success. So, I used the words before, bringing people, process and technology together. This wasn't a technology execution process. This was a whole of business transformation process with obviously technology at its core. It required us to think differently to the way that you typically approach large programs of work that were typically seen as technology being at the center of it, rather than this being something that was end to end.
And I know you mentioned this journey wasn't just tech, but if you could dive in a little bit about how NAB did migrate this new platform and systems over from the old way?
Yeah, so we started off about 4 years ago in 2019, simplifying and automating some of the lodgement process. So those are the tools that our colleagues use when they want to help a customer apply for a home loan. That created some efficiencies, but we used our same legacy backend system. What we've built now is a new factory. We started this in 2021. We leveraged our cloud native microservices capability to build our backend capability. We loosely coupled that with our existing digital platform. And what this allowed us to do is create a fully digitally enabled experience that's been built in the fraction of time it would have taken to do this on a traditional monolithic platform. And what this means is we've been able to offer more and more of our customers access to this simpler experience far more quickly. Also critical to our success is our ability to leverage our global workforce, so our colleagues both in Australia and Vietnam. And in terms of the migration, the flexibility we've built with this sort of microservices-based architecture is that we're able to segment and implement transformed backend capabilities in smaller and smaller iterations. And so that allows us to create more enhancements to automation, straight-through processing. And most excitingly is we've enabled experimentation. So we're able to test and learn rather than design for perfection and fail fast where we need to. This means we can get features to market far faster than we were able to before, and it means that we can migrate in smaller and smaller chunks.
That sounds like a very global collaboration, and you touched on the Vietnam team as well. So I guess how did that kind of come about with the Australian team and the Vietnam team coming together, and what role did they play in bringing this platform to life?
Yeah, so our teams in Australia and Vietnam, we see equally. They're all part of our NAB ecosystem, and the teams work very closely together. Really critical to the success as we've been building out a global workforce to complement our workforce here in Australia is we create end-to-end capabilities and autonomy in those locations. So our teams in Vietnam aren't just a traditional resource augmentation model, but they're really an extension of our team and able to deliver features and functionality end-to-end.
And with the new platform today, I was wondering how this differs for consumers that they may have seen from previous home loan approvals, and how has the uptake been?
Yeah, it's a very different experience to what they're used to. I think I can probably bring your question to life with a good example. Recently, we had one of our brokers sat down with one of our customers that come together on a Saturday morning. The broker had decided to lodge a home loan application with NAB for that customer. They sat down together, gathered all the necessary information, documents, submitted all of the application, and then the broker said goodbye and went to the next appointment, saying to the customer, "I'll be in touch when we hear back from NAB." The customer then called the broker less than an hour later and said, "I think something's not right here, something's unusual." And the broker said, "Oh, why is that?" And the customer came back and said, "I've received an email already saying my loan is unconditionally approved, and I can see in my internet banking that I've got digital documents ready for me to sign such that I can accept the loan." And then, of course, the broker was able to explain to the customer that they've been one of the cohorts of customers that we've now enabled for this new experience, and this was the direction that NAB was taking. So clearly, customer was both surprised, not a bank-like experience that they're used to, but also delighted at the same time. And it was really good for the broker to be able to bring such a great experience to life for that customer when she's in NAB.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I know with getting a mortgage, can be quite stressful for a customer. How was it, I guess, for brokers' side of things? Did this new platform really help them create a better experience for customers? Because it sounds like there's some really great technology, but with the mortgage process, you always still need that human touch.
So what we've done is we've made sure this experience is created equally for all of our channels. So for our brokers, our customers who come to us directly through our amazing colleagues in our retail and our business bank. So the experience is the same for everyone, but we have actually rolled this out first with our broker community. So our brokers have been the first one to be able to experience this with our customers. Every month right now, we iterate such that more and more of the customers that our brokers serve are able to enjoy this experience. And to your point, the intent here is we want to take the stress out of that home buying process. We want to remove some of the friction, and we want to do it for all of our customers, regardless of which channel they come to us through.
And I was wondering how the simple home loan mortgage platform fits into NAB's wider cloud-first, multi-cloud strategy.
Yeah, great question. So, as Steve Day, one of my colleagues previously on one of these podcasts, talked about 4 years ago, we made the bold decision to launch a cloud-first, multi-cloud strategy. And I'm really pleased to say today we've got over 70% of our applications now migrated to the cloud. So with these strong foundations in place, you're able to deliver better experience for our customers and colleagues. And what's exciting about this initiative is Simple Home Loans is cloud native from the outset. So for us, this is a critical proof point of our strategy. And what's been really exciting is this has been an enabler of our ability to do this. So we've been able to build at pace and scale when we need to.
Yeah, it's been quite awesome to follow NAB along their cloud journey. Each update always brings something new. So this sounds like a really wonderful addition to all of that. And I was wondering then, what is the broader industry context around home lending and why this was a focus area for NAB?
So the broader industry context around home lending, I think, is everyone's on the same journey that we are. Everybody wants to make it as seamless and frictionless as possible for our customers, such that people want to choose that particular financial institution for their home loan going forward. And it's no different for us. It's a critical part of all of our customers' financial life cycle. It's probably the biggest thing a customer will ever do with us. So we want to make sure it's right. We want to make sure our customers have got access to the ability to get a home loan when they need it. And part of our broader focus as well is they're making sure that throughout the life of their home loan, they have the ability to interact with it and the flexibility to make changes as they need. A big focus for us, and as I know many of our competitors, is our ability to provide our customers to be able to access those capabilities through their digital channels, self-serve when they need to, and then importantly, be able to talk to one of our amazing colleagues in those moments of truth.
And how did you go about building such a large internal development during such a volatile talent market?
Yeah, great question. For us, it's really making sure that we make the right investment in our exceptional in-house engineering talent, both here in Australia and in our global locations. We're invested in making sure that we're not just hiring for role, but we're also building career growth for all of our people, making sure they've got the right opportunities to learn as much as possible. But a core tenet of making sure that we're successful now and in the future is how we build our talent pipelines and how we use our graduate and intern programs that we have running in all locations. This is an absolutely critical component of our workforce. And to bring that to life with an example, we've had 1,059 people join our internship program over the last 5 years. 250 of those have joined in the last year. And of those 1,059 people that have joined our intern program, more than 600 people have been hired permanently. So for us, we see that as the workforce of the future. They create an immense value today. We're able to bring young, talented engineers into our workforce to enable us to do some of the things that I've been talking about before. And it also makes sure that we've got the talent that we need for the future.
Yes, that fight for talent is quite a challenge, but it sounds like you guys are on the up and up on that one. And for you, what's next on the agenda for you, especially in this dual role?
Yeah, so what I've talked about here today is a sort of a great example of when you pair our exceptional engineering workforce with a bold ambition. And for me, this is how you create differentiated outcomes. So my job is to do more of this. Here at NAB, we've spent the last few years creating amazing technology foundations and engineering teams. We've got a lot of exciting customer and colleague problems that we need to solve. My job is to bring the two of those together, get better leverage from our digital channels, find ways to accelerate our ability to execute change and create value for our customers and colleagues. And importantly, as we go, making sure that we're simplifying our ecosystem along the way.
And just out of curiosity, I was just wondering if there's anything you're most excited about for this year.
I think we're in a world of immense change right now, and we've got a lot of opportunities ahead of us. I think probably I see a lot of initiatives like the one I've just described coming to life that we may get the opportunity to talk to you about at future events. And we've got, with the world of generative AI, etc., immersion, here in NAB, we're starting to look at what those opportunities mean for us, some of the use cases that might be relevant for our industry and experimenting with those. So I think we've both got a bold and ambitious and strategic agenda, and at the same time, the technology landscape's changing, and it'd be really exciting to see how those two things come together.
Yeah, do you have any ambitions on how generative AI will fit into this mortgage platform?
Yes, AI has been around for a while, and we've been using chatbots already for both our customers and our colleagues to deliver differentiated customer experiences. So here at NAB, we see lots of opportunities. Right now, we've picked a few key things that we're going to experiment with. So within the personal bank, we're experimenting with saying, how can Gen AI help our colleagues get faster information to the knowledge they need when they're serving one of our customers? But it's important at the moment that we anchor that in an approach that meets customer expectations, fits within our regulatory obligations as a bank, as well as making sure it's anchored in our own sort of data ethics standards.
Yeah, that sounds like a really great roadmap you've got lined out on that one. And I imagine generative AI is really going to help shape banking, especially in that, I think it was personal banking you mentioned. So that'll be a really great win for consumers as well.
It's really been great to be able to share with you the journey that we've been on with our simple home loans experience. We've got a number of our customers now enjoying unconditional mortgage approvals in under an hour. And this has been delivered with a true sort of no-touch automation capability. And we think we're delivering a differentiated outcome here in the Australian market. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for the opportunity to share some of that with you.
No, thank you. I know interest rates, home loans, all of that is quite heavily in the news, not always for the best reasons. So if there's anything that kind of helps that makes that journey a bit easier is always good to learn more about, especially for the younger generations as well, just trying to get their first home. So it sounds like NAB's definitely doing some great work.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kate.
And that was Paul Norman, NAB's Executive for Technology Home Ownership and Acting Chief Information Officer for Personal Banking, speaking with us today about the bank's new Simple Home Loans mortgage platform and the tech behind this achievement. We'll be back next week with another great episode. In the meantime, to stay up to date with the latest in technology news, be sure to check out itnews.com.au.